everybody. Today we are debating whether or not the Tower of Babel existed, and we are starting right now. Ladies and gentlemen, thrilled to have you here. Today is going to be a fun one as we have two, you could say, seasoned guests who have debated many different topics. They are friends of the channel. We're always happy to have them and want to let you know their links are in the description so that if you're liking, if you're like, I want more, you can click on their link in the description and hear more. And you can also see youtube.com/TJump is there on the border. You can find TJump on YouTube as well as on Facebook. So we're excited to have these gentlemen here for this topic we've never debated. And dare say, I don't know if this topic's ever been debated. I mean, I could be wrong. Let me know if you've ever seen it out there, folks. It's definitely going to be an interesting one because I'm like, I have no idea how these guys are going to argue in terms of the evidence for or against. But we're excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. And want to let you know, if this is your first time here, consider hitting that subscribe button as we have a lot more debates coming up, including this Wednesday, does TJump's moral system suck, between TJump and Adam Friended. That's going to be a lot of fun, putting Tom in the hot seat. And we've got others as well coming up. So if you want a reminder of these debates, hit that little notification bell as well when you do subscribe. We're glad to have you here, whether you be Christian, atheist, vegan, all sorts of things, Republican, Democrat. We're glad to have you. Thanks for hanging out with us on this fine Sunday afternoon. We are going to start with an opening statement from Praise, which will be 8 minutes, and then jump right into the open dialogue. So with that, Praise, I have the clock set for 8 minutes. And thanks for being here, gentlemen. The floor is yours.
Nice. So I think this debate's an easy win for me because Smithsonian.com and several other reputable sources published articles supporting the Smithsonian's June 23rd, 2017 article called "Some Very Compelling Evidence. The Tower of Babel was real," based on the season 4, episode 1 show. And in this show, Jeff Allen, an archaeologist who is the program director of the World's Monument Fund and ultimately responsible for the Babylon project, said, quote, "I'm really at the place where the Tower of Babel stood. It actually existed." Jeff goes on to present a conglomeration of physical evidence ranging from bricks to other artifacts. This is confirmed by ancient tablet expert Dr. Andrew George, professor of Babylonian history at the University of London, who interpreted a unique tablet and heralded as the Tower of Babel inscription was found dating to be 6th century BC with several inscriptions on it, including an inscription with the Tower of Babel on it. Even more riveting is Dr. George authenticated this tablet to perfectly match up with the biblical account because of several reasons. The inscription from King Nebuchadnezzar himself was explicitly chiseled on the tablet, therefore confirming his existence historically. And moreover, a clear step Babylonian tower with 7 tiers is depicted on this tablet, explaining how the tower was to be constructed by Nebuchadnezzar, thereby aligning perfectly with the biblical text. No other ancient text specifically mentions the details of the Tower of Babel like the Bible. However, other ancient texts corroborate Genesis 11's account of the Tower of Babel because the cuneiform says, "The building of this tower temple highly offended the gods. In the night they throw down what man built and impeded their progress. They were scattered abroad, and their speech was strange." The robust case for the existence of the Tower of Babel officially started when Robert Koldewey made a groundbreaking discovery when his team excavated the actual Babylon in the late 19th century. And it's shown by the show Secrets Tower of Babylon, premiered by the Smithsonian Channel. The events surrounding the Tower of Babel are impressive and supernatural in nature as well. The consensus among philologists agreed there were strong examples of continuity, then discontinuity in language among the earliest ancient Near East people as well, that is attempted to be explained by an extraordinary event that is kin to a great invasion, but they don't know. Linguistic experts E.A. Spicer and B. Landsberger echoed this because the names of rivers, indigenous plants, animals, and some cities are non Sumerian words, unrelated to any known language. Citation Charles Ailing, PhD, 2009. Genesis 11 actually chronicles ancient Sumeria because it states plains of the Shinar. Shinar is actually identified phylogically as Sumer. The plains of Shinar, Sumer are between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. Sumer also has narratives of confusion of tongues and destruction of a great tower. Modern research has clearly demonstrated that the earliest civilizations and ancient languages actually developed in the general area of Mesopotamia, the plain of Shinar. All this evidence confirms the biblical account because history documents the Tower of Babel actually existed. Then there was a dramatic discontinuity and birth of languages. This can only be explained supernaturally because Ted Grant cites in his book, Dialectical Philosophy, quote, human language appears to be a unique phenomenon without significant analog in the animal world. If this is so, it is quite senseless to raise the problem of explaining the evolution of human language for more primitive systems of communication that appear to be lower levels of intellectual capacity. Modern research also eliminates the possibility of stochastic origins of language arising on its own because neuroscientists have discovered language cannot be acquired after the age of 13. Citation NBCI, The Development of Language, a critical period of humans neuroscience. Basically, language has to be taught. In this study, it gives an example how language deprivation results in a permanent language barrier. An example is given where a girl was raised by deranged parents until the age of 13 under conditions almost total language deprivation. Despite intense subsequent training, she never learned more than a rudimentary level communication. This and other examples of so-called feral children starkly define the importance of early training with language. If Tom can demonstrate language arises physically after the age of 13, then a Nobel Prize awaits him. Therefore, all worldviews collapse and are dwarfed in comparison to biblical Christianity, epitomized by the Tower of Babel account in Genesis 11. And with that, I end my time.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, Tom.
Did you actually read that paper that you cited from the Smithsonian?
Yes.
What was the date that the tablet was found? What's the king of who built it?
It was Nebuchadnezzar.
And do you know how many languages were actually spoken at the time when he was king? We know that we can prove definitively with archaeological and historical evidence.
When he was king, see, that's to me is a non sequitur because.
Okay, never mind. Let's just put it this way: there's dozens of languages that already existed at the time, so we can immediately just rule out the Bible story right there because we can already prove if this was the actual Tower of Babel when it was built during the king of Nebuchadnezzar, then there were already multiple languages being spoken at the time that we know about and can prove definitively. So if this tablet is correct, then that proves the Bible wrong, which I just love. So I'm happy to like. No, it's factually proven.
Well, I know the tablets, 6th century, but see, here's the problem. Thomas Nelson, a publishing firm of Hebrew, Greek, and English scholars, on page 16 of their book, The Chronological Study, explains the Tower of Babel started with Akkadian king Sargon, 2350 BC, who burned it down, then restored it by Shar-Kali Shari in 2200 BC.
Okay, all of that nonsense means absolutely nothing.
No, it means that it was remade. It was renovated.
Stop. The tablet, the actual tablet, which is the only evidence we have, says it was built by Nebuchadnezzar, not rebuilt by this other guy. That's all.
It's not. It just says.
Stop. None of that is said by the
It just
tablet.
says for
Stop interrupting.
One second.
Nebuchadnezzar.
Forgive me. So
Stop
sorry, Praise.
talking.
We'll I promise, Praise, we'll come right back to you. We just because we gave you that opening statement, we'll see what Tom has to say, and I
Okay.
promise we'll come back.
So the tablet only says it was created by King Nebuchadnezzar. You could just go to Patterns of Evidence, which is a Christian site, and it just details all of this. It doesn't in any way indicate that the Tower of Babel existed. In fact, the guy who found it, the professor, what's his name, Dr. George, he specifically says this is a very strong piece of evidence that the Tower of Babel story was inspired by this real building. So this real building actually came during the king of Nebuchadnezzar when there's lots and lots of things. And in the Bible, the Tower of Babel was before the flood, I think, or after the flood, I don't remember. But the timing just doesn't work out. If this is really the Tower of Babel, that disproves everything in the Bible. Completely disproves it. Because this came way after Abraham and a lot of historical things with that the chronology of what happens in the Bible is wrong if this is the Tower of Babel. The Bible portrays the Tower of Babel incident as happening after the Great Flood, but before the time of Abraham. There are different views regarding what the time should be. Actually, that's literally factually the case.
I can debunk it if I get a time to speak.
Why are you interrupting? Why are you interrupting? No, that's factually wrong. I'm reading off of the page, the site that you gave. This is literally the source, the patternsofevidence.com, the spectacular news, Tower of Babel discovery. The Bible portrays the Tower of Babel incident as happening after the Great Flood, before the time of Abraham. There are different views regarding what that date should be assigned as, the biblical timeline, but the latest proposed for the birth of Abraham was around 2000 BC. I'm just quoting from the site, your reference.
That's still.
So I'm just.
I know.
So this is just your reference. You're still interrupting. Why are you still interrupting? Stop it. Traditions and many biblical
scholars. Is this open talk though, or
I think
why? No. This is my opening. I'm just going to read the whole.
So you never told me you had an opening.
Yeah, I didn't. Tom, there was a little misunderstanding. I didn't know you wanted an opening. I thought you wanted an open discussion.
I'm going to let him speak. I'm going to stop talking and let him speak. So this isn't an open discussion. This is me stating my position. So,
go ahead.
Traditions and many biblical scholars point to the time of Nimrod as the setting for the Tower of Babel. Nimrod was Noah's great-grandson, while Abraham was 10 generations after Noah. So the Bible puts the Tower of Babel back into the 3rd millennium BC, more than 1,500 years before Nebuchadnezzar. So this is 1,500 years. The biblical Tower of Babel was 1,500 years before King Nebuchadnezzar. So if King Nebuchadnezzar built the Tower of Babylon, well, then the Bible is just factually wrong because it's got the order wrong. Therefore, if the historical history of the Bible is factual, Nebuchadnezzar could have nothing to do with the construction of the biblical Tower of Babel. In short, far from being proof of the reliability of the Bible, if the tower on the inscription built by Nebuchadnezzar really was the Bible's Tower of Babel, then the only thing it would establish is that the biblical account in this case is in fact a work of fiction and not real history. The Bible maintains that there was only one language at the time of the Tower of Babel. In the time of Nebuchadnezzar, there were many languages. Nebuchadnezzar brought various groups of people together to finish the tower. The Bible account has one group of people who became splintered and then never finished the tower. The only similarity is that both towers and many people worked on them, which would have been the case for any large tower. What about the views of Professor George? A closer look at the comments is revealing. He said that the builders described in the inscription could represent the biblical multitudes of languages. The myth about the multitude of languages comes from the context described in the stele. From that, it may be the Bible got the idea of the confusion of tongues from this. Dr. George adds that this is a very strong piece of evidence that the Tower of Babel story in the Bible was inspired by this real building. So Dr. George himself admits the Tower of Babel was a story, a fiction, a myth based on a real thing, just like the flood myth was based on a real partial flood. The whole world was never flooded. This is a very common way of thinking among today's academics. The predominant theory holds that the Hebrew Bible, Old Testament, was not written until after the Babylonian captivity took place, more than 1,000 years after Moses. Variations of this view propose that the events written of the Bible are either complete fiction or else loosely based on old legends, myths, and events from other nations that inspired the biblical writers, who then adapted these accounts and wove them into the biblical narrative to make them their own. Looking at this tablet through the lens, it is easy to see why Dr. George believes that it is evidence for the inspiration of the biblical story of the Tower of Babel. However, this view is completely different than thinking that it shows the biblical account is real history. So I mean, that just completely destroys everything you have. It just destroyed all of your evidence right there. And it wasn't even me, it's just your own reference. So no, none of that indicates the Tower of Babel is real. It just indicates the story of the Tower of Babel was made up based off of a real building, which is completely reasonable. Okay, done. Go.
Okay, so we know that your refutation has no basis because the Tower of Babylon was destroyed in 2350 BC. So we know it can't be the original Tower of Babylon, so that just directly refutes your refutation.
Well, that's not my refutation. That's the refutation of your source. Your source refutes.
No, my source had nothing to do with that. And I'll give you some quotes from my source if you want to. I mean, the director of the whole thing says he's standing on the very site of the Tower of Babel.
Right, but weren't you listening? That's the story of the Tower of Babel was inspired by this.
He has bricks. He showed in the show. He actually had bricks from the original structure. Please watch the show before just cherry picking a thing off a site.
That story is saying the same thing. Those are the building that the Tower of Babel story was founded on. So yes,
no,
it was called Babel
Tower, and I just destroyed your claim there because
no. You're not understanding. I'm agreeing with you.
Was destroyed.
Yes. Hold on 1 second.
The Tower of Babel.
Let's just hear Praise out for a second, just to be sure. Praise, do you feel like you finished that argument so Tom can respond?
1 second. Yeah, Tom has no basis to say that Nebuchadnezzar originally erected it in 630 BC or whatever it is, 600 BC, around that range, because the original Tower of Babel was destroyed by King Sargon. So it's a remake or a refurnishing of the original, the Tower of Babel. So I would like for Tom to address that first.
Easy, because the tablet doesn't say that. That's not what the tablet says. So you're making up something else that has no basis and then adding that to the tablet. So the tablet itself just says it was built by Nebuchadnezzar. So the tablet does not support the claim that it's the Tower of Babel. It's just a tower. So if you want to add something else, that if you have some evidence of this other thing, of a tablet that says that there was another tower built before this, which was the Tower of Babel, that would be good. But this tablet does not say that anywhere in the tablet. Nowhere does it say that. So you've added this other thing to the actual evidence that isn't there.
Well, I can use the same argument with you. It doesn't say, nowhere does it say it was created first by Nebuchadnezzar. It just says, if you read the inscription on the tablet itself, it just gives instructions how to construct it. It doesn't say it was first made. So you're actually adding into the text itself. I say you're the one that needs to justify your claim that it's saying that it's being first erected by Nebuchadnezzar.
No, that's a burden of proof fallacy. So we have evidence of the tablet. And the tablet says there is a tower of these things built at this time. That's all it says. So the only evidence that the tablet provides is that there is a tower built by Nebuchadnezzar with these dimensions, and that's it. That's the only evidence it provides. Now, you made a different claim that before this tower there was another tower.
No, it's the same.
And that
tower.
claim isn't supported. No, you said it was destroyed. Remember? So
the original Tower of Babel was destroyed. The same thing. But
you're not following.
It was
you're not following. So again, you're not following. So again, the tablet itself only supports the tower built by Nebuchadnezzar. It does not support anything before that. All of your claims before that have no evidence. The tablet only supports the one built by Nebuchadnezzar. So it can't be referencing the Tower of Babel. You have to have other evidence to show that there was something there before that, which you don't have.
We do.
Where?
I told you the guy. I'll give you the guy's name. It is.
That applies. That's the same. That's the same one by Nebuchadnezzar. That's not a different tower.
No, Jeff Allen says this is the same structure from 2200 BC, not 600 BC. No, it's the same structure. And please watch the show before
just contradicting yourself. I've already seen it. It doesn't support something. I've already seen it. It doesn't support your claim. So it can't be the same.
You even know the guy's name. How could you see? You didn't even know the guy's name.
Because I don't remember every name of every show I've seen ever, obviously. So again, it can't be the same structure, because if it was rebuilt, then it's a new structure. So no. And again, the whole thing is that no one supports this. Like the guys you quoted, Dr. George does not support this. The academics do not support this. pretty much everyone universally and all academics say, no, the story of Babel was a myth, a legend. Dr. George says it's a myth and it's a legend, and that this story of Babel was created based off of this tower. So
no,
this
that's not
one,
what he said. I mean, I have his quote.
literally, it's literally what he says. I have the quote right here.
He says it confirms the biblical account. I mean, if I could show it on here.
No, this is a very strong piece of evidence that the Tower of Babel story was inspired by this real building. So he's saying, yep, this is a myth.
The real building. That's right. The 2200 BC, the real Tower of Babel.
No. The Tower of Babel story, the myth, the legend, the made up thing was inspired by this real building, referring to the tablet itself.
No, it is the real building.
No, again, because we went over this. So this story.
It was just repaired. That's all it was.
No. I'm just, again, this is your article. This is your reference. This is the tablet we are talking about.
I know, but I'm addressing your complaints.
No, there's no complaint here. This is Dr. George, the guy you're referencing, specifically says this tower built by Nebuchadnezzar is the one the story of Babel was made up after.
Yes, it's the real Babel, Tower of Babel. I mean, what do you not get about that? It's what he actually says. It confirms the biblical account.
There's no earlier tower here. It's just this one.
It is, but you see it is. I even gave you historical evidence.
That's your made up thing.
Sargon.
All of the academics agree on this. This tower is the one the story.
Sorry, look it up. He even remade it after that.
I already did.
You did. Look it up.
I already did. I just gave you the evidence. All the academics agree there is no before this. You just made that up.
You're conflating this new tower with another one. No, it's the same tower.
No. You have made up an earlier tower that isn't in any of the.
No, it's the original tower.
No, that's made up. So you don't have any evidence.
No, it's a ziggurat. You know what a ziggurat is?
Yes, it's a tower that's like a stair step thing. So again,
right.
All of the academics agree. Tower of Babel, made up fiction.
No,
this tower existed.
I quoted you from the whole main guy who headed the project. Okay. Sure.
So again, as I just read from the article, all of the academics agree this tower existed. There was no before tower. That's not mentioned in any of the sources. No evidence of any of that. That's something just you made up. And they agree this tower is likely one of the ones that the story of Babel could have been made up after. That's it. There's no other claim there. It's exactly as it says in the article, as the quotes say by Dr. George. Like, there is no evidence you presented that supports anything else other than that.
Okay, like I'm just gonna try to not repeat myself over and over. This is stages of the same tower. That's
an assertion. Give me evidence of this.
I gave you assertion over. I mean, I gave you evidence over and over. You're not listening.
Where is the evidence?
Our evidence is that King Sargon destroyed it, and then it was remade by Karmu Shala.
That's a claim. Where's the evidence?
It's historical facts. Look it up. I mean, what do I have to? It's historical fact by archaeologists.
Where is the archaeological evidence of any of that happening?
By easy. Just look it up on Google yourself. It was destroyed and remade by Karmar Shali. I mean, it's that simple.
That's a claim. There is zero archaeological evidence of that. That's a claim.
These are stages of the same building. You're not getting that. You're trying to.
No, I understand your made-up story, but your made-up story has no archaeological evidence.
Look at it. You're just saying so doesn't make it so. I mean, you're just making circular claims, arbitrary claims.
Right. Now apply that to all the stuff that you've just said. Give me archaeological evidence that supports anything beyond that tablet.
Right. I just gave you King Sargon. He destroyed
There's no archaeological evidence of that. That's a made-up story.
There is, though.
Where is it? Where?
Google it.
Google it isn't an argument.
Here, I'll do it right now. I mean, it's that simple, man. I'm just going to do it right now. I'm going to go Google it right now.
Go for it.
King Sargon. I mean, this is simple. King Sargon destroy temple. Tower of Babel. Oh my gosh, it's there. So the Tower of Babel. Shinar. Okay, this is what I was saying, that it was remade by Shamar Shali. I see so many links confirming what I just said.
Okay, so there's a tower that Sargon destroyed. You've showed nothing about the Tower of Babel.
The original tower was destroyed by King Sargon.
You haven't shown anything. You've shown nothing. There are lots of towers, and lots of people destroyed lots of towers. How does this have anything to do with the Tower of Babel? Like, give me some archaeological evidence.
Because it's a stage that Nebuchadnezzar was renovating it, or just making repairs on it. Is basically
none of that is evidence. Doing. What are you even saying?
It's the same ziggurat. It's the same temple.
That's only
no,
your
not
assumption.
the same.
There's no archaeological evidence to show those are the same.
There is though. I mean,
Where?
even the people, Jeff Allen, who's the main person, said this is the exact.
No, one second, Tom. Let's go ahead and Jess Allen or whatever the name was. Praise if you want to go with that. And I promise we'll come right back to you, Tom.
Okay. So, he's making things up about the people that I cited. That's not true. The guy's name is Jeff Allen, and he says, "I'm really at the place where the original Tower of Babel stood. It actually existed." That is the citation. That is straight from the June 23rd, 2017 article called "Some Very Compelling Evidence the Tower of Babel Was Real." You can't. There's no way you can circumvent that. It's history. It's fact. Period.
Again, you don't understand the basic logic. The tower was based off of a real tower that existed that had that name. It's not the biblical tower. It's the one that the biblical tower was made up after. So yes, the tower existed. That's it.
But we're just saying the Tower of Babel existed. That's the debate. It existed. It's proven to exist.
Right. There's a tower called Babel.
So what's your objection?
It's not the biblical tower. The biblical tower.
The biblical tower is chronicling the original tower. What do you not get about that?
You totally don't understand this at all. It's simple. It's like the flood. The flood myth. There was a flood that happened. An actual flood occurred. There was the flood. Was that the biblical flood? No, because the whole world was not flooded. Was there a tower called Babel which existed? Yes. Was it the biblical tower? No, because there were lots of languages there. There were already lots of people. There was no falling out where there lots of broke out into lots of different places and languages. All of that is made up. So there wasn't the biblical Tower of Babel. It doesn't like there wasn't the biblical flood. It's all made up.
No, all we are. I mean, the whole debate is basically: did the Tower of Babel exist? It did, and the Bible chronicled it. The same building that's mentioned in Genesis 11. I mean, basically, debate over right there. But also, I'd like to address.
I don't understand basic logic here. This is pretty simple. There was a tower. It was named Babel, and it was made long after the Bible. All of the chronology of the Bible is wrong. It's a made-up story after a real thing. You're like claiming that, well, the King's Cross Station in Harry Potter is real, therefore Harry Potter is real. Like, no.
But we're not saying the building's magical. But we're saying the events surrounding the Tower of Babel are supernatural. And I mean,
that's the part that's proven wrong very simply. This tower, there were already many, many languages and many people before this tower. There was not one language. There were already many. The story is false.
Actually, no, because in my opening, I showed the discontinuity, the sudden discontinuity in languages. And I gave the citations for that. But also, I can prove that the Hebrew language is the oldest. I can give you 3 citations that would completely destroy your arguments.
Good luck with that, because Hebrew definitely was not the oldest.
You want me to give you the citations?
Go ahead and win a Nobel Prize and go publish it, because that's a complete waste of my time. We know language.
There's no Nobel Prize for just citing something. That is so stupid.
No, you'd have to discover that, because we know languages predate Hebrew. Hebrew is an evolved language from lots of other combinations of things. So language started with grunts.
Okay, can I give you my citations? I mean, just the audience's sake.
Not evidence. Good luck with trying to publish that Hebrew is the oldest language.
It is, though. I mean, I can give you citation.
No, you can't, because you don't understand.
Here's your citation. Douglas Petrovic, the world's oldest alphabet, Hebrew as the language of Proto-Consonantal script. ScienceNews.org, November 16, 2019. Live Science, January 15, 2010. There's your citation. Look it up.
You're so dull. An alphabet is a comprised system of language. It is not the first language. It is a system of language. So it's like saying we have lots and lots of examples of like C++ was
Hebrew
the
is
language.
the oldest
No, it wasn't.
language.
No, it's not. Hebrew is the oldest, like, comprised alphabet language. There are lots of other older languages.
Citation, please.
Like
I don't even
Obviously,
know if you
I
know
don't
what you're
even
talking
need to
about.
provide one. We know this for a fact. This is so
Okay, we know
obvious.
there's Aramaic. We know that there's there's different types of Proto-Hebrew.
Google how languages develop. Obviously, there is more. This is not
Citation. Give me
Google how languages
citation.
evolve. Just Google how languages evolve.
Languages don't evolve. I debunked that. After the age of 13, that no one can acquire language.
no.
Languages do not evolve. I even gave you a scientific journal,
my
NBCI, showing that.
No, languages do evolve. That's how they're developed.
I'll give you the citation. You want the citation?
You don't understand anything you're saying, Praise. Like, you're citing things that don't
NBCI, the development of language, a
Don't
critical
support
period in humans
Great.
neuroscience.
That
Okay.
supports my position. Every one of them support.
We just got that citation. Thank you, Praise. We'll give Tom a chance to respond.
Sure.
And we promise we'll come right back to you, Praise.
All languages evolve. It's an objective fact. That's how languages develop. That's every single one of them. Like, Praise just has no idea what he's talking about. Like, okay, next.
Praise, do you agree that you have no idea what you're talking about? Go ahead, Praise.
He's just making claims with nothing to back it up. I backed up my claim. NBCI, the development of language, a critical period in humans neuroscience. There's actual evidence, even cases where children that were deprived from learning language could not acquire language under 13. That means that humans cannot acquire language under 13, then therefore debunked. Your whole argument is useless, and therefore the Bible's true, period.
No, like, everything he just said is complete bullshit. Like, no. So I don't understand why he thinks that language not being acquired after the age of 13 has anything to do with how language evolved. It's just irrelevant. And so this has nothing to do with how language evolved.
You
We
would
know
need
language
something
language
external. You need something external to have people learn language. And the Bible provides that. And it says that Adam was taught
what
language.
does this have anything to do with what we're talking about?
Everything. It shows that your model of language is obsolete. It's the
No. We can teach language to orangutans. They start with one symbol.
No, that's just Babel. No, even in my article, it mentions that. If you would actually look at it,
Again, that's how language started. You started with simple things, and then you build on them. That's how language evolves. Like I said, you start with simple things, and you get more complicated things. What you're talking about is just gibberish. Like, no,
it's actual science.
Except none of the scientists agree with you. Just zero of them.
Except the one I showed.
No, that's specifically contradicts everything you're saying. They don't agree with you. You just don't understand what they're saying.
So you're just saying something's true because you're saying something's true. I mean, that's all you're doing.
No, I'm saying that everything you're saying is obviously false. You just don't understand any of the topics related to them. And so there's just not really much I can do to help you there.
I mean, I gave you a citation. I don't know what else, man, to help
all
you
of the
out
citations
here.
show you're wrong. Every single one of them. You just
Except
don't understand.
the one I have.
That one shows you're wrong too. Like, they all show you're wrong.
Oh, really?
Every one of the people you cited disagrees with you on this in everything.
Once you look up on Google right now and look it up, there's more sources that confirm that.
1 second, gentlemen. So sorry to cut in. Just to be sure that we are on the same page, that it would be the Tower of Babel from the Old Testament that we are talking about. Someone in the audience just wanted to be sure that it was that specific tower rather than an exorbitantly high tower within Babylon, other than the specific one mentioned in Genesis. I think it's 11. Are we all on the same page?
Yes, it's the same one that King Sargon destroyed in 2300 BC. Then it was remade by Karmu-Shali. And then during that period of time, it must have got run down because, remember, these are mud bricks. And over time, they degrade. So you had Nebuchadnezzar come in and, refurnish it and make it improvements and put improvements on it. I mean, basically, that's it.
Gotcha.
So the only evidence we have of the Tower of Babel is this tablet. That's why it was such a big deal. There isn't anything else. And this tablet only mentions the tower built by Nebuchadnezzar. There is nothing prior to that. There's no evidence prior to that. You can look at all the references. Just go for it. Just Google it. It's pretty obvious.
Nope.
All historians agree on this. Crazy,
And
just making.
obviously not, because I gave you the name Jeff Allen, and he even showed bricks from the original temple, 2300 BC, the same one.
And as I
He's
explained
the
to you,
leader of the
disagrees with
whole
everything.
operation.
As I already said to you, he himself says you're wrong. You can just you can
No.
Google him and read his own quotes. He himself says you're wrong.
Really? So when he says I'm actually standing on the original Tower of Babel, he really never said that.
No, he really did say that. You just don't understand what the Tower of Babel means. The Tower of Babel is the ziggurat built by Nebuchadnezzar. It's not the earlier thing. It's not the Bible thing. That doesn't exist.
How could it be built by Nebuchadnezzar when it was destroyed? That makes no sense.
Because that's your made-up story. The Tower of Babel was built by Nebuchadnezzar.
What you're not getting is the stages. It's the stages of the same.
That's your made-up story. That's your made-up story. That's your made-up thing.
It's just cognitive dissonance. That's all you're showing right now. Is cognitive dissonance. I can't believe this, so I'm not going to believe it.
No, hear the evidence that's provided. The only evidence.
I gave you evidence after evidence. You're just denying it.
No, made up stuff
seems like
evidence.
We may have come to a stalemate. We might
let's
go to Q&A. So if people do have questions and you want to fire them into the live chat, I will be pulling those out and into a list that we will ask the debaters. You can ask a question to either debater or both. Super chats go to the top of the list, and if you want to make a comment, super chat allows you to do that during the Q&A. So if you want to compliment Tom on his appearance, you're welcome to do that. We've all been there, and we will be pulling those questions or super chats out of the live chat as we go. We do have a few, but any concluding statements before we do move on to the Q&A, gentlemen?
I can let him go. If he wants to do his concluding, that's fine.
No, I mean, I don't even need to. It's already over. Like, just the evidence itself just says he's wrong. Okay. His own sites say he's wrong. His own sources say he's wrong. Like, I don't know.
Do my conclusion, or you want me to, are you going to do a conclusion or not? I mean,
sure.
Basically.
If you'd like, you're welcome to. Is that okay with you, Tom?
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay. So I think, this afternoon I showed evidence after evidence that the Tower of Babel it's true. It's a reality. And I showed how the stages of that same tower was confirmed by Nebuchadnezzar in 645 BC with his own inscription. Then I showed how language cannot evolve, that after the age of 13, I gave citation for that. Nothing natural is associated with language. It's an immaterial construct. And I gave citation for that too. I mean, I gave citation after citation. I gave the leader of the whole freaking project, Jeff, the guy's name, Jeff Allen. And he says, quote, I'm really at the place where the Tower of Babel stood. It actually existed. That means it's not fable. It's not legend. It's reality. So I think, basically, I just see cognitive dissonance, denialism, because it conflicts with Tom's worldview. Too bad. It's truth. It's just the way it is. So I think I went way out of my way. But also I showed Hebrew is the oldest language. I gave 3 citations for that. And I'm going to end with those 3 citations. So here is the first citation, and it's from Douglas Petrovic, the world's oldest alphabet, Hebrew as the language of Proto-Consonantal script. Then ScienceNews.org, November 16th, also published the same thing. And then also Live Science, January 15, 2010, also published that Hebrew is the oldest. Sorry, Tom, this debate was a joke for the skeptics. And so I'll end my time with that.
We will go to the Q&A. So thank you very much, everybody. Want to make a couple of quick announcements as we are very excited about several things coming up. One is that if you were here on Friday and you saw that train wreck, we had a debate scheduled with Destiny, and I misunderstood. Adam Friended. He actually was answering yes to another question I asked him in another thread, because he actually did not want to defend Trump, but we did find somebody who will defend Trump against the charge of racism. So we will have a debate probably in the next week or two, which we are excited for. That's going to be a juicy one, and that's going to be a provocative one. So that will be, hopefully, I think we'll probably be able to get contact with Steve Bunnell or Destiny again, and we will get that debate finally on the road. So that's going to be an exciting one. And we are also pumped because we have our first ever debate tour coming up this January. So if you love these debates, we are very excited as we are launching this short debate tour. You could call it a mini debate tour. It'll be in Texas. It'll be, hopefully, we're going to try to get speakers such as Matt Dillahunty, Arnon Raw. We will probably fly in several speakers, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We really have enjoyed the live context in addition to the online one. So with that, thanks for being here, folks. Excited to jump right into this. So the first one is a super chat. Thanks for your super chat. Roy Lindsay, got a friend in Roy, Tom. He says, Tom Jump, I recently moved to Minneapolis. Is there an atheist community here?
Yeah, there is. There's the Minnesota Atheists, the Humanists of Minnesota, and a bunch of meetup groups for atheists.
That's right. Minnesota Atheists. I'm familiar with them. So, Steven Steen, thanks for your super chat as well. He says the Tower of Babel. Oh, gosh, Steven. He says the Tower of Babel is just a story about the time James stood up and everyone was so awestruck by his physique, that they could not speak anymore. That's very sweet. Oh,
that's
Steven.
True though. That could be true.
That's pretty sick. Thanks for that, Sloth Sin. Thanks for your super chat. Oh, coming at ya, praise my boy. He says, for anyone, is praise usually this delusional? Whoa, what do you think of them apples, praise? What do you got to say about that?
Yeah, I might have to go see a doctor then or something.
Appreciate that. Well, appreciate your super chats and your questions, folks. We've got a good number of them, so we'll keep moving through. Emotionally Stunted Emoticon, good to see you. They ask, for praise, can praise explain the origin and arrival of Amerindians in South America under his model that is consistent with South American history? And give a citation for his answers.
Sure. I actually do. Let me get it real quick. So my citation is from Linguistic Analysis, or m.phys.org. It says it really only arose 4,500 years ago, which is after the flood. And so that makes his objection completely useless. So it's useless.
Gotcha. Also, want to say thanks, everybody. One thing I'm really encouraged by is that after a couple weeks ago, we had some people emailing me, and they were like, "Hey, my comments are getting deleted," and I think it might have been a very small few. The majority, 99% of you, are chill. You're I don't care. Post whatever you want. It doesn't bother me. But there were some people on both sides, whether they be Christian or atheist. I don't know what they exactly were, but I know both sides were at least being kind of treated unfairly because their comments were being reported. And some of these comments were really tame. They're making fun of Kent Hovind's Hawaiian shirts. It's come on, people. It's not that bad. He can handle it. He's been in the game for a long time. So we appreciate that. That seems to have stopped. We just want to let you know we appreciate you being here. And we just had a super chat fly in. Thanks, Uvas. Make sure I'm pronouncing that right. Forgive me if I'm wrong. They say Sumerian is thousands of years older than Hebrew. It has its own alphabet. Thoughts, praise?
Yeah, I gave citations in this debate. I recommend if you want to rewind and look those up. In fact, the word Sumerian is, I gave in my opening statement of it's written in Genesis. It's written in a Genesis account, so it can't precede it because it's written in Genesis. It comes from Suma or Sumar. So I think that's pretty redundant. That's a redundant claim.
Gotcha. Thank you. And the Heathen asks for praise. If languages don't evolve, why is there Old English or Low, Middle, and High German?
See, I don't see. It's just, they're just nuances of the same language. That doesn't mean they can't change within the same language. Our language, it constantly evolves, but it doesn't mean that the language itself evolved. I think languages have the ability to change. or people changed it themselves, but the original language is set in stone. I mean, look at the biblical languages: Hebrew, Greek. They're all set languages.
Gotcha. Next up.
Wait. So our language evolves, but languages don't evolve. I love that. I'm gonna quote that from now on. That's a praise quote.
Yeah, people can evolve the already existing language. I mean, that's what happens in English. Things change.
Well, I wonder if C++ was just already written in stone too. Did it evolve?
I don't know what C++ is. I suspect it's some sort of app that the young people are using.
Language. It's a coding language for programming.
Really?
Languages in programming or coding, like C++, JavaScript, HTTP, all those are all languages. In fact, they're defined as formal languages because that's what they are.
I would say they're immutable. Math is an immutable language. It doesn't change. It's always been around. I mean, that's actually a way to
debunk is a programming language for computers. It's not immutable. We can change it however.
It's mathematical symbols, though.
Well, thank you very much. It's apparently not an app for the young people. Thank you for letting me know that. So, Ray Rez, thanks for your question. They said, we already asked that one. Thanks for that question. It's just clarifying which Tower of Babel we're talking about, in case there's more than one. Also, Brian Stevens, Patreon priority question. Thanks for your question. Sorry, I'm a little bit late to get to this. He says, from Praise's primary source, quote, the neurobiological mechanisms underlying the evolution of language, and then citation Cool, 2007. He says, and then in parentheses, Brian adds a point saying, one of the authors in the development of language, Praise cites, said this, namely, I'll say it again, the quote, the neurobiological mechanisms underlying the evolution of language, ...
I mean, I'll have to look into that. He showed, I mean, we have actual examples in reality that language does not evolve after age. I mean, language does not happen after age 13. So, I mean, that's in the guy's own journal. So,
gotcha. Next up, we are going to Frustrated Atheist. Good to see you, our friend from Texas, if I remember right. He says, question for Praise. If language doesn't evolve, why are we not speaking English from the medieval time period?
Like I said, just because languages, humans, just because humans might be able to update a certain word, like, therefore, if or something, like maybe that used to be an English word. Maybe it's just therefore now. I mean, they're just, making it, just updating it. I mean, there's nothing changing, really. There's nothing, it's not evolving into a whole new language or anything. It's the same language, it's just more updated.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. Just peeking around for other ones. Got some trolls. Good to see you, Stephen Steen. Some more super chats. Evolution is zombie science. I'm getting to your question. Thanks for your question. They asked, TJump, do you think using profanity while arguing for, quote, evolved languages makes you credible? I don't think so. Evidence makes you credible, which you didn't provide today. Oh, snap! Oh. Tom, what do you think of them apples?
Yeah, I didn't need to provide evidence. That's so obvious. Like, we change language all the time. Like, we can show language evolving from its base states in just orangutans, which I did present. Oh wait, there's evidence. No, your story just crumbles apart right there. I did present evidence. You've lost. No.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. Next up, Travis Lee. Good to see you, Travis Lee, a former rival or opponent of Tom Jump. If you guys remember that debate. Travis is coming back soon. That was a fun debate. He says, for Praise, I am that I am. The Tower of Babel existed 30,000 years ago during the last ice age, according to Hugh Ross.
I guess we just abandon everything what he says and just take it, and accept it. I mean, I don't agree with that. I mean, he's open to his opinion, though. So, I mean, of course, I disagree with that.
Gotcha. All right. Thanks for that. And next up, Jesus is Lord. Jill, good to see you. Thanks for your question.
Yo, Jill.
That's right. Tom's twin brother. We were glad to have you here. Was that Tom, you and Jill tag teamed with Skylar and Praise one time, or
Yep,
Skylar
that's
and
right.
Josh.
That's right.
That's okay. I remember that one. That's one of my favorite debates. So he said, why did the historian Josephus attribute the tower to Nimrod, in parentheses, Sargon, if it was first built by Nebuchadnezzar?
Oh, that's my point of the debate. That's why I brought this up.
Tom, what do you think?
No. So I never said that was the case. I said that the evidence we have of the tablet only shows this tower in Nebuchadnezzar. Now, any other made-up stories that have been added later are totally fine. Like, you can make up other stories and attribute to other people. There's no contradiction there. But the myth was based off of this story.
Gotcha.
And then that myth was then added on to all the other stuff to try and get it to fit with the fact it was older.
Gotcha.
So really a problem.
You got it. We are, let's see, we've got one more question, and we are closing the Q&A, so sorry about that, folks. We've got the Heathen asked, Praise did, make sure I don't mispronounce this, did it's spelled A-F-R-I-K, so like Africa, but with a K, Africa, yeah. And then A-A-N-S. This must be, is this a language?
It's a language.
It's new to me. Evolved from Dutch.
Oh, I have no idea. See, I guess I have to look up. I have to look into that. I don't know the answer to that.
Afrikaans is a language from the Dutch who moved to Africa and then developed their own language when they moved there, which is Afrikaans. Yes. The answer is yes, it did.
Gotcha. We have
still has a base language though.
We have a super chat from Steven Steen. I don't understand what he's saying. I think it's his failed attempt to be cool. Thanks, Steven Steen, for trying. Next, I'm just kidding. We love Steven. He's a good guy. I'm teasing him back. We want to mention we do have a possible debate. I just want to mention it because it's exciting. We mentioned the Destiny one before. I just want to mention this one. G-Man has gotten in touch with me. And he said he wants a piece of Aaron Raw. So I have reached out to Aaron. I don't know. I mean, Aaron's got a lot on his plate. I know right now Aaron's like both kind of doing the still YouTube, you could say, kind of career, like as well as studying biology at the university. So I don't know if Aaron's going to have time for it, but that's an exciting possible debate. I don't want to put pressure on Aaron. Just saying that because I'm like, oh, that would be a juicy one. And it would be on a topic we haven't done for a while, but a topic familiar to Praise, slavery in the Bible. Oh. So that would be a juicy one. And we are very excited for a lot of other ones coming up. So we know that next Sunday we will have Jenna Belk. She is from the Atheist Experience. You've probably seen her before. She's a regular there. Pleasant person. So far we've interacted, and she seems very personable. She will be debating an atheist gentleman on whether or not Alcoholics Anonymous, given its kind of spiritual or quasi-theistic bent, is it good or bad or both? And which way does it tend to go more toward? More good for society or more bad? As well as, do demons exist? This is a debate that we were going to have a while back, and it just got kind of pushed down the road a little bit. And that's going to be, I think it's maybe it's got to check. It's either the night before Halloween or the night of Halloween. So if you are around, hopefully you can tune in for that. We've got Nephilim Free in the audience. He's got a question. Yep. We're going to ask his question for Tom because Tom hasn't gotten a lot of questions. Good to see you, Neff. No hard feelings, Neff. I hope you're doing well. Seriously, last time we had maybe a misunderstanding. I'll be, I'm not perfect. So here we go. Neff, his question for Tom is, if the Tower of Babel affair is not true, why are all of the earliest nations and tribes of man named after men in the Table of Nations in Genesis?
Ooh. Because Genesis was written after all of that stuff and based off of real things that happened. Genesis was, like it says, most of the Old Testament was written like hundreds of years, thousands of years after Moses supposedly lived. So, I mean, there's pretty easy. Like, why does Harry Potter mention King Cross Station? Because it was written after King Cross Station was built. Pretty simple.
Gotcha.
It's like I can predict the lottery numbers for last year pretty simply, and then write it in a book, and then claim it was written before, and be like, "Oh, I'm a genius." That's essentially what the Bible did.
Gotcha. We are also I just want to mention this really quick. I sent an email to, I think it's Dr. Oakley 1980. I'm trying to remember the exact number, if it's 80 or 81. To hopefully host a debate on whether the Earth is flat. We haven't done that for a long time. Was anybody here during the debate with Patrick, in which Patrick, it was a feisty one. He and Jonathan debated. It was a lot of fun. But want to let you know we're excited for a lot more coming up. Thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it. It's been a pleasure. The speakers have their links in the description. So
Likewise.
if you enjoyed it, want to encourage you to check out their links, as you can hear a lot more where that came from. So one last thank you to our speakers. We hope you have a great day, everybody. Thanks so much, Praise and Tom.
Thank you, James.
Thanks.
Take care, everybody.